Well, I am ex-President Pervez Musharraf, ex-President of Pakistan, trying to clarify issues on Pakistan and the region.
Baruch here with genConnect.com, and we're fortunate enough today to be joined by President Pervez Musharraf. President, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
You've recently left office a few years ago. What was your proudest accomplishment in office?
I think in its overall context, I stabilized Pakistan's economy. I gave pride and confidence to the people of Pakistan, pride in themselves, pride in their nation. I think that is the ultimate accomplishment of mine.
Do you feel that recently that pride may have diminished once again?
Yes, yes, it has certainly. One sees a lack of confidence that they suffer from. People want to leave the country. This is terrible. While in my time, there was a reverse brain drain. People were coming back into Pakistan. Now they want to run away. So this is, I think, terrible.
Does this play a part in your decision to ultimately return to the country?
Very much, because I know that the country has potential. It has the resources to stand on its own feet and to be a proud nation in the community of nations around the world. And when that is not being done, with all the potential, with all the resources, the country is going down, being run into the ground. That is what motivates me to go back. I mean, that is what a cause which I call bigger than myself, a cause where I'm prepared to take risks for the country, for the people of the country who are simple, whom I love.
What is your vision of the true Pakistan if you were to return and lead once again?
I think my vision is to have a Pakistan, a moderate, progressive, dynamic country where people are happy, living happily, with their living standards improving. And that is what I would like to see.
While in office, and more recently, you've, of course, denounced Islamic extremism and terrorism. Do you envision a world that would be terrorism-free one day?
One wishes, at least. One doesn't see this coming in the short-term time frame. But I believe we have to pursue a strategy which has three dimensions. A short-term dimension, which is I call the military dimension, the force dimension, where you have to fight against terrorists and extremists. The other is a mid-term dimension, and mid-term dimension is political disputes, which are the main cause of people going into this extremist and terrorist mode. And the last is long-term dimension, where you need to address the issue of poverty and illiteracy, which again is the cause of pushing people toward terrorism and extremism. And may I also say, we generally use these two terms of terrorism and extremism together, whereas they are very different. A terrorist is a known person. You have to fight and you have to kill him before he kills you.
Sure.
Extremism is a state of mind. You don't know who's an extremist. I mean, you can't call anyone an extremist unless he proves himself to be an extremist, where he proves that he wants to impose his will on you, and he wants to impose his will even by force on you. He is an extremist, which you don't know. So now dealing with extremism is a totally different ball game than dealing with a terrorist. You have to understand what factors in the country, in your society, is leading to extremism. Why is extremism there? And then start addressing each one of them. That is totally different from terrorism.
Extremism ultimately breeds terrorism, though, right?
Yes, extremism actually breeds and spawns terrorism.
So if we were to get at extremism,
yes,
we could help prevent
yes,
some terrorism.
absolutely, because it's the extremist who is really indoctrinated to towards suicide attacks. So therefore, extremist has a different dimension to be addressed. I was in my time adopted a 5 point strategy to address extremism, and that was number one, you check the misuse of mosques. Uh, Number two is ban extremist organizations, extremist religious organizations. Number three is check the printing and publication and selling of sectarian religious publication books and pamphlets and magazines. Stop that. Then is with the syllabus is being taught to children in schools and colleges, inciting them towards militancy. Control that, check that, modify the syllabus. And lastly is the madrasas, the seminaries in Pakistan, the madrasas where about over 1 million Taliban, we call them Taliban, is a
Right.
student, religious student. They study in those madrasas. To moderate those madrasas and mainstream those 1 million students who are studying nothing other than religious studies. So that was the 5 point strategy to counter extremism. It was all a long term. It was all a long term strategy.
Sure.
So that is what I mean. Extremism is different. Terrorism is different. We have to understand the entire complexity and deal with the whole thing in a 3 point strategy of short term, mid term, long term.
And would this be one of your first things that you would focus on if you were to lead the country once again?
This and economic revival. You can't do anything when your economy is not sustainable, when you are not being able to look after the welfare of the people. The government and leaders' responsibility is welfare of the people and development of the state. Welfare of the people translates into poverty alleviation, employment generation, education, health. Development of the state translates into economic well-being, obviously, communication infrastructure, industries, telecommunication, IT, water management, dams, canals. So all that needs an economy to be doing well. So first of all, turn the economy around towards high growth and simultaneously fight terrorism and extremism. I think that is the way forward.
President Musharraf, thank you.
Thank you.
And for more with President Musharraf, be sure to check out genConnect.com.